Hey guys, welcome back to Mo's Game Table. Today we're going to take a look inside War Diary issue number 25. This is coming out at the end of March, so if you have your digital or print subscription, you will be getting your copy of this edition very, very soon. If you don't already have a subscription, I can't recommend strongly enough signing up for a subscription as soon as you can. This is a fantastic wargaming magazine. It is the best wargaming magazine on the market, bar none. It has a ton of great articles all the time in every issue, not only about the war games themselves, but the history surrounding these games. So you cannot go wrong with getting a subscription to War Diary magazine. As always, we start off with the Prelude, which is the letter from the editor, Roy Matheson. And in this issue, he's going to be discussing several things that are in this issue. We have the first installment of an excellent series of articles by Hugh Smithers with his suggestions for good play of the ever-popular bulge game Bitter Woods. Francisco Runco discusses the simulations formation games from VUCA Simulations. There are extended designer's notes from Arrigo Villacoña for his latest game Black Horse from Tiny Battle Publishing. And also War Diary has released the names of the next two games in their own line of games that they're publishing. Off the Line from Mike Nagel, which is a game about man-to-man combat in World War II that I'm very excited to see published. And the second game is another interesting title called Corvette Command from designer Alan Eagle. This is a solitaire game placing you in command of a Corvette ship protecting Allied convoys in the North Atlantic in World War II. And at the bottom of the page, we see an advertisement for Eagles in the Sky, a new title from Revolution Games, who always produces excellent war games worth taking a look at. And we have the table of contents listing out all the articles in this issue. We start off with Trial of Error, Napoleon and Waterloo by Paul Combin. Then we have Bitter Woods, Tips, Tricks, and Techniques for Fighting in the Ardennes by Hugh Smithers. Sedan 1940, a review by John Burt. SCS Ardennes 2, Khan's House Rules by Claire Konzelman. When the Counters Get Real, Order of Battle, Tactics, and Doctrine in Simulations Formation System by Francisco Ronco. 8th Air Force, Player's Notes by Curtis Milbourne. Black Horse, Extended Designer Notes by Arrigo Villacoña. And then finally, Pass and Review, which will be capsule reviews and book reviews by Joel Toppin, Paul Combin, and Andy Nunez. And the first article is Trial of Error, Napoleon and Waterloo by Paul Combin. He's going to do a deep dive into the Battle of Waterloo, and as is usually the case with these articles from War Diary, they're going to be showing examples from war games to illustrate the bits of history that the author is discussing. And that article goes on for several pages, as you see, finishing here on page 14. Then we have an ad for Dreaded Flags, Naval Conflict in the Age of Piracy 1568 to 1720 that you can get either from Amazon or on Wargame Vault. Next we have Bitter Woods, Tips, Tricks, and Techniques for Fighting in the Ardennes by Hugh Smithers. This is going to be the first article in a series of articles giving you tips, techniques, and tricks for playing Bitter Woods, which is an incredibly popular game covering the Battle of the Bulge. That also goes on for several pages. Then we have Sedan 1940, a review by John Burt. This is a game that is published by Conflict Simulations Limited. He's going to be talking about the gameplay and his thoughts on it, as well as an overall review of the game itself. Then we have an ad from Fortress Games for their games available now: 8th Air Force, 20th Air Force, Save Afghanistan Comrade, and Save South Vietnam. Then we have another ad from TKC Games for Singapore. SCS Ardennes 2, Khan's House Rules by Claire Konzelman. He's going to give you several house rules for use with SCS Ardennes 2 to kind of change things up and improve some of the gameplay. And that article goes to page 34, and I love this little ad for War Diary magazine. I bet he's a War Diary subscriber. Then we have When the Counters Get Real, Order of Battle, Tactics, and Doctrine in the Simulations Formation System by Francisco Ronco. This is going to discuss these games from VUCA Simulations, Across the Boog River, Crossing the Line Aachen 1944, and Operation Theseus. And this sounds like a really interesting article because the opening lines here really catch my attention. It says, "I have been wargaming for 44 years, and as I grew older, I more fully understood the potential value of wargaming as an educational tool." So that is something that right there catches my attention because I want to see what his thoughts are on this. I'll be going through discussing the 3 games as well as the formations and how they are represented in the games, and their strengths and weaknesses and how they're reflective of the real-world units. And that continues on for several pages. It's a really nice long article. Then we have, coming from War Diary Publications, Off the Line and Corvette Command, which we saw at the very beginning. That was mentioned by Roy in the Prelude. Then we have an ad for Barbarossa, The World Will Hold Its Breath. Then we have player notes for the 8th Air Force from Curtis Milbourne. This is published by Fortress Games, which we saw in one of the earlier ads. Here we have an example of the map board from the 8th Air Force game, and some of the sample counters as well as the Battle over Berlin example. Then we have an ad for 3 games, Operation Watchtower, Day of Infamy, and Singapore. And we have the expanded designer's notes by Arrigo Vallicogna for his game Black Horse, which has come out recently and has been quite a good buzz on this game. We've covered it on the channel, we've talked about it on Whiskey Charlie, and really digging the game. A little bit more polish, and this thing is going to be really, really sweet and definitely has the potential to be a long-running series of interesting games. And that goes on for 5 pages. Then we have Pass and Review, the Great War card game by Lombardi Studios, RBM Design Studio, which is written by Joel Toppin. Then we have Santa Cruz de Tenerife 1797, Bellica 3rd Generation Games. This is by Paul Combin. Then we have Stalingrad, New Perspectives on an Epic Battle, Volume 1, The Doomed City by Christopher Bergstrom, and that is written by Andy Nunez. Then we have an ad from Lock and Load Publishing for their upcoming game Close Quarters Battle, Waterloo. Then we are at the back of the magazine with an ad from Legion Wargames for their upcoming game La Bataille de Wagram. And that is a look at all the articles that you'll be getting in the upcoming issue from War Diary Magazine, issue number 25, which will be available at the end of the month here in March. So if you've not already placed your order for it or have a subscription, definitely head on over and order up your copy today. This is a fantastic magazine. This looks like it's got another slate of fantastic articles. Really can't wait to dig into them. Well, I hope that helps you guys out if you've been curious about this magazine. If you have any comments or questions, post them down below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.